in Hyland to China. And Shell had in Hyland to China.
Okay, so I've invited Tara Hyland to come speak to us. She's been a travel agent for
30 years.
30 plus years. She now has her own company. And I invited her to come tonight to just talk a little bit about travel and get our brains thinking about some of the exciting things we can do when we're retired.
That's assuming your good investments have left us with enough money to
Exactly. And she's even going to talk about that. So with that, welcome Tara Hyland.
Thank you. Thank you, Weldon. So when Weldon invited me to say a few words about travel, he said, and you'll have 10 minutes. And I thought, okay, here's a Southern girl talking about the world in 10 minutes, right? So I knew we were going to have to narrow it down because was I going to talk about some destination like South Africa or Italy or Croatia or some type of travel like cruising or escorted tours and so I kind of bounced some things off Weldon and then a light bulb went off and I thought, you know, you're here tonight because you're either friends or clients of Weldon's and you're interested in financial planning, right? So there's something that I've been doing with my clients for some time and it's future travel planning. And we collaborate, it's pretty systematic, we're intentional about it. We'll talk about some of the factors we consider to put together a 5 to 10 year travel plan. And I thought it would be fun to engage you in an exercise so that we have just a little outline for you to take with you. This is not anything I'm taking up. It's only for you. And if you're here as couples, I ask each of you to do it separately. Because when you're planning for the future travel, you may find out that you may have some different ideas about where you want to go and how you'd like to do it. So I think it will be just an interesting exercise for you, and I'll give you some tips as we go along and some examples of some things that some of my clients have asked me or that we've done. So I provided you with a note card. You can answer all of the questions on the front. I only have 5. And a pen for you to take home, which happens to have my name and information on it. And it's a great ballpoint pen and stylus, so there you go. So, and I do know that I'm assuming that many of you already do your travel planning, so maybe this will just give you some additional ideas to incorporate as you do this. So, the first question I'd like for you to consider and to answer, question number 1, if you'd like to just label it, is please list your top 4 bucket list destinations. This could be a country, a city, a particular area like Patagonia or the Galapagos, or it could be Paris or South Africa. Give you just a minute to do that. All right, question number 2. List 3 travel experiences that you dreamt about. I'll give you some examples. Playing golf at Pebble Beach, attending the Masters, heli hiking in New Zealand, having lunch, a private lunch on the Great Wall of China. Some more examples might be a private tour of the Louvre after hours, a garden tour in England. All of the things that I'm mentioning to you are real possibilities and things that I have booked for my clients. Let your imagination soar. And the next question is, do you view travel as a top priority in your life or as a luxury? All right, question number 4. What percent of your discretionary income would you consider allocating on a yearly basis to vacation travel? And the last question is a really important one. How many years do you currently envision that you will be traveling internationally based on your current physical condition?
Repeat that question, please.
How many years do you envision actively traveling internationally based on your current physical condition and circumstances? For instance, I have clients who are both in their early 70s and they just took a trip to the Galapagos Islands. And the next trip they want to do is a trip to Antarctica. And they said to me, we're going to Galapagos first because we want to see how we handle the schedule and getting in and out of the zodiacs and snorkeling. And then depending on how we do on that trip, we'll let you know if we're going to book that trip to Antarctica. And they just got back and said, we're good to go. So I thought that was really good planning on their part. I think all of those questions that you just answered are some of the basic questions that you would consider in working with your travel advisor to develop a coordinated travel plan, an intentional plan. There are a few more things that I would like to just give you some tips about that I think are very important considerations for future travel plans. You can jot these down on the back or front if you're on the left. But since 9/11, we've seen a huge uptick in multi-generational travel. Grandparents traveling with grandchildren and their adult children. And so you need to think about if that's something that you are doing or intend to do, what's that going to look like? What kind of destinations can you all agree on? What are the kids' schedules like? When will they be graduating from high school and college? You need to plot all of that. The other thing you need to think about are milestone events in your life, those birthdays ending in 0 or 5s, or anniversary trips. Are you going to go back to some place that you went on your honeymoon? Or are you going to go someplace new? And you need to plot those on your calendar. So that gives you some specific dates to work around. So you can see multi-generational travel takes a great deal of collaboration when you're dealing with other families and what their future travel plans may be. So I think it's really important that you explore with your travel advisor the destinations and your interests, because throughout the year we get so many updates and are continually learning and studying. So we know the best times to book travel, when the best value seasons are, how far in advance you need to book certain trips. For instance, if you're going to Africa, a lot of the camps and lodges are very small. So maybe 6 to 12 rooms. So you have to book those several years in advance in order to get into the lodges you want. So that's the kind of a thing that we can work with you with to make sure that you're on track and there are no disappointments. So I was just going to end with an anonymous quote about travel, and it's, "We travel not to escape life, but for life not to escape us." I hope this has been helpful, giving you some things to think about. That I'm sure you've planned a lot of trips and are planning more, but maybe this gives you a new framework. I'm an independent contractor. I work from my home, and I'm here in Lake City.
Lake City.
Yes, yes. And I make house calls to sit down with you and plan, or you're welcome to come to my dining room table.
Either bucking out home